All right. Okay. Big shout out to all our new listeners in New Delhi and Mumbai. All those guys over at university, all those guys and gals over there. You know what? Maybe that's our market. Yeah, that's where we got to go. I think we need to add a section, a spicy section for our Indian followers.
Their food is spicy, so I think it fits.
Yeah, I think it works out great.
So they just must like spicy everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I'm a long time ally of these.
That's how it works. So welcome to the Spicy Spice Show. No, we're Two Guns, No Ammunition. Welcome to another installment.
I'm Spicy McSpicerson.
We're crossing borders now. Even if they're not listening yet, they will. I'll figure out a way. Yeah, I'll pay them.
I'll pay them in hear us. We will be heard.
We will be heard. Okay, welcome to another installment. We've got a special guest in studio today. We're sorry for the delay. I got to tell you, we've been going through a lot of life changes. A lot of us, okay? Some of us got new jobs. Some of us have abandoned our friends for a period of time. Others of us have gotten new homes. Others of us have been traveling the country working, you know. So we're trying to get it out there. We're trying to get it to you. But we got special guests in studio today. We got Big Sickly Sean.
Friend of the podcast?
The Big Sick.
Yeah, the Big Sick.
Big Sickly Sean.
Yep. He put on 5 pounds, so he's now the weight of a 14-year-old girl. We're very proud of him. Yeah, he doesn't have an eating disorder, so don't come at me like that.
Working my way up.
Okay, yeah. So we'll just do a quick mic identifier, and then we'll get into it. If you're used to our normal format, we're probably it's going to be a little more free form because we do have a guest. We haven't had one in a long time. But yeah, I think it should be a good time. So I'm Big Billy. If you ask me how long I've been friends with Sean, it's too long. Sean?
I'm Sean or the Big Sick.
Yeah.
There you go.
You got to give him a fact to like associate with you, your voice. You dress like a 14-year-old dad.
Yeah, sure. Go with that one. Yeah.
His baby face and his glasses, but he's got like the hat and the...
Well, you missed the googly eyes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
What?
Yeah, you do have googly eyes. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill likes to critique Sean intensely
You'll hear a lot of
out of repressed sexual attraction.
I'm not attracted.
Don't tell him that, though.
Look, we've already established that Sean and I are basically
Excuse
the
me,
same
I'm talking to the audience, guys. Oh, yeah. Don't tell them that I said that. But just so you know. Okay, sorry, Genevieve.
She's laughing, but with no sound.
Yeah.
Great for a podcast.
Right. I love it. I'm Genevieve. I'm braiding my hair, and I am not Shauna, but the girl version of Sean.
What the fuck was that?
I'm highly confused.
Are you fucking drunk?
Also, my name is Jake. I'm not drunk, but I am, again, highly confused.
Okay. All right. So, if you're wondering, Sean, you were actually on our debut episode, that train wreck that you can find if you want
a couple cents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but the last one, I think you were super tired.
I was exhausted.
Yeah, you were tired because we stayed up till like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah, playing Civ.
Doing heterosexual things, Jacob. Okay. He's not my type. Look at him. Look at him.
You do a lot of looking at him, is all I'm saying.
The 14-year-old dad bod? You don't like that?
Yeah, well, the thing that really drives me nuts about him is no matter where I take him, he's everybody loves this guy. Because he's like such the antithesis.
He's agreeable.
He's the antithesis of me. Like, I got this big personality. I occupy a lot of space. I got things to say. Meanwhile, there's easygoing Sean, not threatening in any way physically, not in any way with his opinion. And, you know, apparently I asked my mom about it. I was like, why does everybody get along with Sean so well? And, you know, I have a hard time. And she's like, well, Sean's pretty good looking. He got the big blue eyes. And I'm like, God damn it. You know,
my mom even loves Sean.
That's awesome. I never heard that one before.
I think you look like the witch from Banjo-Kazooie. Like you
I need reference.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But shots fired.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
On a scale of 0 to 1.
One of my favorite parts about that game is like there was a lot of dialogue, but they're like, we're not going to voice this over. They just put in like 4 sound bites. It was like for Banjo-Kazooie and the witch.
Did you guys see this sweet mashup of Banjo-Kazooie and Chop Suey.
Oh my God, you said it to me.
Banjo Chop Suey.
I'll have to look that up later.
Google it.
Amazing.
YouTube it. It's like a minute long, and it's the best minute of your life.
Oh,
Amazing.
I promise.
There's so much good stuff on the internet. It's unbelievable. Have we talked on mic about those stupid mods that Chris made me get for Left 4 Dead 2?
I think he mentioned them.
He talked about them briefly.
Well, I
You
picked them
didn't
up.
talk about 'em.
And I got to tell you, Hamburger Apocalypse, where all the zombies are, well,
Hamburgers.
Cheeseburger Apocalypse, they're cheeseburgers. It's fun to look at, but it makes them much harder to kill. Because
It doesn't change the hitboxes,
So
does it?
expert level.
and also it doesn't, like, it's not obvious when a cheeseburger is finally dead or simply resting.
I'm not aware of many cheeseburgers that are alive.
Well, these ones were, and they attack you. And I chopped them with my katana, my folded Japanese steel.
Oh, there goes that whole
And then
Listeners.
my favorite part is I turned one of the horrible monsters, like the jockey or something, no, the hunter, into this like anime waifu. And the model is like way too large, and she ended up killing me. I was the last person left in Helm's Deep, and like she's standing over my body like tearing me up, and then I die. It's like, you died. And my point of view changes to where my character's laying on their back looking up at the sky dying, and the waifu steps over me, and whoever created the model modeled her little waifu panties. So I'm like, the last thing I see are the panties of the anime waifu who gored me with her bare hands.
Oh my God.
Deep in Middle Earth.
Someone put their heart and soul into that.
That
And it's
doesn't
paid
sound
off.
immersion breaking in any way.
Dude, and I turned the tank into Shrek. And when he comes in, he goes, "Get out of my swamp!"
That's the best thing I've. Oh my God.
Dude, okay, so
That folds my steel.
That's.
when we were growing up, Shrek was a thing. Did you go see Shrek when it first came out?
Yeah.
Did they let you out of your basement?
What?
For one night.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it a crawl
year?
space?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it's been both things.
It's more of a dungeon,
It was dark,
really.
you know.
Yeah. But like, I liked the first one. I thought the second one was okay. The third one was the one where they had little babies was awful.
Just gonna ask which one Donkey did the dragon there.
That's a
That's a
good
whole
question.
I know. I've seen the first one enough times to remember it, but the second one is I only know that I saw it
Don't
and
they have,
nothing
like-
else. There was like 8 of them.
The second
Four.
one's
4 or 5. Yeah.
all right. The
Okay.
third one's a little.
Yeah. Well,
And then the fourth one, I haven't seen, but from what I've heard, is like totally different than the rest. Like they almost ignore everything that happened.
oh, real quick.
Is it a reboot?
Real quick.
Exactly the same
Yeah,
people.
Shrek's like super hot, played by Captain America, but green. No,
It's just Green Captain America.
real
not
real
Shrek.
quick, for those people who know the what's that trivia, Shrek was originally supposed to be voiced by Chris Farley,
Oh my god.
and then he became unalive, and then they shot it with
Most
Mike
people are
Myers,
dead, but yeah.
which I haven't heard hiding her hair that guy in years. But anyway,
I don't even know if he still does Shrek.
I think he must have done Shrek up until the last
I'd be
one.
surprised.
so
Stuff like that.
He what did he? Wait, okay, so the generation after ours, or we'll say the 10 years, the decade after us, unironically love every Shrek, and there's a ton of fan content out there all over the place. And I'm like,
oh no.
yeah, I'm like, oh, like this is a funny meme. This will go away eventually, much to my heart's dismay. No, it's everywhere. Okay, one of the YouTube channels I listen to, it has a bunch of the like the grindcore music I listen to. It's like Slam Fest Worldwide or something.
Hey, you be listening to that hard shit.
Are we sure that's music?
They put together a Shrek album called Giant Green Destruction.
And it's got his face
The
on the
cover is Shrek's face with lasers powering up in his eyeballs about to blast off. And there's 14 songs, and the 13th one is the cover of All Star, which is amazing. 14 legitimate songs. They got real musicians.
They're all related to the movie, right?
It's like Shrek's in the one he like murder kills everybody in the forest because they keep interrupting him when he's jerking off and he can't get a nut.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The first one is just it's like a tormented sickly version of his conversation with Donkey, like
The onions, right?
yeah, the ogres are like onions. Oh, they stink? No. Oh, you leave them out in the sun, they get little brown hairs? No, they have layers.
But it goes on for like a minute and a half
and
of just the dialogue playing.
And he talks with this about like gutting people and eating their spleen, which actually is said in the movie, but with the music they make it so much more horrible. And at the very end there's like a hyper realistic boom 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 knock on a door. I guess the door to his abode. And I got to tell you, at work I looked to my right, I thought somebody was angrily banging on my desk. And then it goes into it's just fucking amazing. Not exactly my jam, but I listened to the whole thing. The band that makes it is called Ogre Packet Slammers. That's what it is.
Oh my god.
I don't know what that means, but
but
I think it means exactly what you heard.
dude, Shrek. This Shrek content is amazing. They put him in everything, and like. You want to talk about combating
love?
You want to talk about combating body norms? You know, Shrek's out there on the front lines.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't know. I just think that these violent SJWs are out of control and need to be stopped.
Wait a minute.
Are
wait,
they
Shrek
on
one of
Shrek's
those?
side
That's
or
what
against?
that's what I'm
Shrek
insinuating.
Justice Warriors.
that's
If that's what SJW is, I stand with them. Justice for and from Shrek.
And from
I want to see that like Steven Crowder or like Stefan Molyneux video about the Shrek Justice Warriors. These Shrek sycophants are out of control, corrupting this country with their liberal ideas.
Well,
Anyway.
you really want to get me to take to the streets, take a hard
if
stance
anything,
against
Shrek's a
Shrek.
conservative. He doesn't want anyone in a swamp. He just wants to be left alone. Think about it.
Think about
Thinking is hard.
it. Facts don't care about your feelings, donkey.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about the real facts. How, I guess, since
are they
Donkey's
making-
the male, I guess they could survive intercourse with the dragon. But if the dragon was banging Donkey, surely
You mean
the
if their
donkey would be
genders were
killed.
swapped?
If their sexes were swapped,
That too.
they can identify however they like. You identify as a donkey dragon kin, right, Sean?
Oh yeah,
Not strictly either, but kin.
yeah,
I mean, I can see it.
yeah.
You know,
I can
okay.
see the resemblance.
Speaking of a new take,
God.
speaking of a new take on a genre that we've grown to love and used to be wholesome. Look at this segue. I just want to get the big bucks. You've been watching a show called The Boys.
The boys.
The Boys.
Yeah.
Tell us about this thing.
What that sounds like.
Oh, I don't want to ruin anything, but
Well, you don't have to ruin it.
Yeah, because we watched the first episode and now
yeah.
we're
What
hooked.
did you think of the first episode?
I liked it a lot, surprisingly. Like, there were uncomfortable moments, but they were,
Yeah.
like, they took it in a direction I was not expecting.
Well, we're talking about
Right.
something we haven't described at all. What's the basic premise?
So like superhero movies, superheroes are
Awesome, do their
awesome.
thing.
They're the best. They
Save the world.
yeah. Well, takes a more realistic look. These people have superpowers, and then they can do what they want. So they do what they want.
Yeah, they kind of
So-
act like celebrities,
Yeah.
like,
They,
sort of like
they're
big douchebags.
they're treated like gods.
Yeah.
So they just literally do whatever, and like, oh well, who cares? I'm a superhero.
I'll
There's
blow you
nothing
up
you
with
can do.
my super ray eyes. or
Yeah,
something.
it's like they're super corrupt, and
It's a world of
It's
superheroes, and the superheroes seem to be recruited by this big corporation.
Yeah.
Vote or Voot.
Vought.
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 Yeah.
And this company, they keep talking about how much money they're making annually. It's like $1.7 billion per superhero.
Well,
They've got 200 superheroes in the
Yeah.
U.S.
And it's like they contract them out to cities.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one superhero they were saying they netted him. He netted the company like $12 billion alone.
Yeah, the leader of the
Yeah.
thing. But the thing that really set the tone for me when we first started the show is there's a brutal, there's a car chase, some bank robbers, and one of the superheroes.
Supposedly.
What?
Nothing. Supposedly.
What the hell?
I don't know. You might have been in the bathroom for that scene.
Okay. So anyhow, these bank robbers are brutally murdered, and like there's no, it's not Batman where like, oh, maybe he survived, and is comatose, so technically I'm not a killer. Like the main hero flies in and picks a guy up and just hucks him. And then 8 seconds later, you see him crash into a car, brutally dead in front of a bunch of children. And the kids are like, "Can we take some fucking selfies?" He's like, "Of course."
Sure thing.
He's just taking a little nap.
They've done a really, really nice job of taking that like corporate evil fear that people are aware of. Like, it's nicely outlined in like Black Mirror and other shit. Like what happens when the technology gets good, and they apply it to wholesome superheroes, and everybody's fucking corrupt as shit. And the other thing I like about it is these are your superheroes. They're not like they're more like dumpy superheroes, right? Like the one is like, oh, I can be very bright. The other one is I can be completely invisible. Yeah. They're not like all Superman, Yeah,
they don't seem to have, except for the one main guy, like really multiple powers. Like it's, I guess the one light girl, she can control light in some way, but it's still like, so you're right. It's not just like super strength and can fly and all this other stuff.
It's closer to Watchmen level powers than like X-Men
or like mutant X-Men. Yeah.
And in this universe, there's like 200 plus. I think it's like 200 plus superheroes in this one corporation, but they focus on the 7, which is like, I guess,
it's basically like their Justice League.
Yeah,
from what it looks like.
So there's like hundreds of these superheroes, and
it's so corporatized. Like every time they solve a crime, they have like cameras all around. I guess they do analytics, and they're like, "There's probably going to be a crime here," and then they go and they shoot it, and it's all about selling the experience.
So like their PR.
Oh, you're up 12 points with this group,
with this demographic, and they've got lawyers all over the place, and like they do deal with like what happens with the aftermath of these battles for the real people.
Yeah.
But it's got Sean's.
Oh my God!
His new Tyler Durden.
Here we go.
His new Tyler Durden. So if the listeners don't remember, Sean and I, we were young. We were youths together.
Yes, young.
And Sean, he saw the movie Fight Club, and he decided he was going to be Tyler Durden. And he came in the next day to school. He's like, "Oh man, have you ever seen this? I gotta get the Anarchist Guide to something, and I'm gonna make soap out of people fat, and I'm gonna get lye and burn myself. It's gonna be so cool. I'm 2 people inside. I'm crazy, and
I'm 2 people inside. I'm crazy."
So as he like grew older, he moved beyond the edgelord Tyler Durden desire, and now he's got a particular actor that he's ascended into, and what's his name?
Carl Urban.
Yeah. Carl Urban. So he's like your English Brad Pitt knockoff. I would. Is
he English or Australian? Either way.
Fuck him. But he's in this show, and he calls people cunts and mate, and so it still could be English or Australian.
Yeah, you can't tell.
But he's like, well, why don't you describe him? Why don't you describe you in this movie?
I don't know, man. This world you're describing, I think, is in your mind alone. I think he's a great actor. That's all.
Yeah? What else has he been in? Name 3 things.
Judge Dredd.
Thor.
Red. Thor Ragnarok. Yeah.
I didn't ask. Damn it, Genevieve.
I'm basically Sean, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh shit.
Plot thickens, Bill.
I told him that.
You're dating.
I just
basically
looked this up
Sean.
last night too because I asked this question.
They both made me so fucking mad.
He's not attracted to me though.
It's great.
No.
It's great. What?
Oh my God.
So how many seasons are out? Is it just the one?
Just the one. I think it's only
It's
like
relatively new.
Yeah, it just came out 26th or 27th.
And here's the real shocker: it's on fucking Prime Video.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a single piece of content on Prime Video except for Schitt's Creek.
This is the first.
Which is also on Netflix now, I think.
Yeah.
I've pretty much only watched
But-
the Grand Tour.
Is it an
I was just
Amazon
keep forgetting about
original?
that.
Is that what it is?
What's that?
Does Amazon make the show?
Yeah, it's an
'Cause
original.
that's what I know. Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah.
That's also a Amazon show. Like you can't find it anywhere else.
Yeah. This is my second time. The only time I used Amazon Prime Video was to watch The Patriot, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
With Mel Gibson.
No. Oh man.
Because that's a great movie.
It is.
No,
I
it's
do love
a
that
TV show where.
You know who loves that movie? My dad.
Oh man.
I love your dad.
I'll look this up and get back to you guys on this one, but
I do too.
You know what we watched the other day on Prime? I actually rented a video. Instead of buying it, I rented one for $4. I took a time machine back to 1998. And
Amazing.
we rented the movie Strange Wilderness. And let me fucking tell you, it really toes the line of like a weed comedy. Like, you know how you watch Seth Rogen in like Pineapple Express, and people are like, "Oh, it's so funny," and then what you got to ask them is, "You're like, were you high as fuck?" And they're like, "Of course I was."
Yeah.
And you're like,
Well,
"Okay."
that's why you thought it was.
So I probably won't think it's super funny. Not knocking it, okay? I mean, if that's up your alley, you go right ahead. But this one, it's almost so dumb that it's like weed humor where you got to be high, but it's not. It was wonderful. And in fact,
amazing.
so the whole story is a guy's dad basically was a nature documentarian, and he was really good, really beloved. Think our Australian buddy.
Crocodile.
Yeah, Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
No, Steve Irwin.
No, what was it? Isn't he the crocodile hunter? Or no?
And he.
Am I insane?
I don't know. You're going to have to Google it.
Okay.
Anyway, so this guy dies, and the son takes over the show. And the son's just a big pothead, and he's really dumb. And they're running their own version of the show, and they just keep fucking it up. They like
The best stupid way possible.
they swear all the time. Their facts about animals are wrong.
They like record audio of them clearly using a bong, like off screen.
Yeah, like, oh, this
Just,
fog
like,
keeps
loud as
rolling
hell.
in, and it's just weed smoke.
Yeah, guys, I'm picking up like a babbling brook sound. Like I don't.
So, in order to save the show, they go on a quest to find Sasquatch. They have a map, and they have to travel down and get it. And I don't want to spoil the ending because it is masterfully done. It really
Crocodile Hunter. That's his name.
really got my goat. But the part that Genevieve liked the most about the movie was the main actor. I can't remember his name. He does a great accent.
Steve Zahn.
Steve Zahn. There's like these I guess they're cholos. I guess they roll up in their lowrider and they're bumping their music or whatever. And he's like, while the team is trying to shoot some bugs outside of a hospital because somebody lost their teeth for some reason. It's great. So he goes, "I got it. I'll take care of it. I can speak their language."
Meanwhile, we already know at this point that the only girl on their trip is like the travel guide, and she speaks fluent Spanish. But he like interrupts her trying to talk to them so he can do his version.
Can you do your rendition of
I feel like it's gonna be so much worse than yours. But
Zach's the main actor's Spanish? Can you?
Zac Efron. Yep. Please, can you turn down some music? Like,
Please, can
there we
you
go. Yeah, I can't do it.
the music turn it down? Please turn it down.
Genevieve lost her shit over that. It's so good.
It came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and it was so perfectly done.
And they're all straight faced. It was like
Yeah.
they play it so well, and he does it twice in the movie. Gets me both times. It was $4 well spent. I think it was a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
We crushed right through it. I recommend that super duper highly. I like it better than Without a Paddle or whatever. So, and there was another movie on Prime that was free, Sasquatch Squad, and I tried to watch that and I couldn't get into it. You know, okay, let's do it right now. Sean, is Squatch real?
Okay.
Scratch.
I actually wanted to talk about Sasquatch. You brought him up. I went to a family dinner at my one friend's place, and their
What's
grandparents brought up Sasquatch.
Okay.
And she believes in Sasquatch. And we had a discussion.
Oh,
We'll call it.
what are some highlights of this discussion?
I just like, because she was bringing up like there was a story reported that this old woman in Oregon told this cop that the Sasquatch kids come and watch TV in her living room, and they can't take photos because it's not allowed.
Is this like Air Bud Sasquatch version?
No,
A law-abiding citizen.
yeah. And the cop never saw it because they always run away before he gets there because he's a stranger. They don't like strangers either.
Smart kids.
And I shit you not, like the next day at work, someone was watching TV and it was like some soundbite about these people hunting Sasquatch, and this person got on and said how we never see Sasquatch because they can turn invisible and teleport.
So they're basically like Predator.
These Sasquatch theories have evolved so much.
This is a known fact. I don't understand the controversy.
I think this is basically more government activity like Alex Jones. They're like, listen, we don't need the people knowing about the Sasquatch. Get some of these goobers out there to say some wild ass shit so everybody sounds like a lunatic.
These things are evolving at a rapid rate.
Yeah. That's why the government doesn't want us to know.
Is she a flat earther?
You know what?
You should ask her.
I want to now. I'm gonna message her.
We gotta know if she's a flat earther, if she's a young earther, or a hollow earther, because these are all real.
I just
or a geocentrist, just full interview, man. Full science interview.
And just
What
casually
does she
throw it
believe?
out there and be like, what are the Jews up to? And just see what she says.
And just see what she says.
I'll just see if I can get her on here as a guest.
Okay.
Interview her.
Are we talking about the old woman?
Yeah.
The grandma?
Yeah.
Would she survive the trip?
Would she survive the 2 flights of stairs up to this room?
Oh, maybe not.
How many teeth does she have?
I don't know.
We were discussing this at the party last
my
night.
gosh.
Sean's
We were
type
discussing
is
this.
low teeth. Low teeth.
The less teeth, the better.
Yeah, so one of the girls at the party, she was from Brazil, so
But not anymore.
maybe teeth work differently down there, but she kept being like, yeah, Sean likes to date women with few teeth
Because they're cheaper.
they're cheaper.
Yeah, that was her
Because they don't
assertion.
spend all that money on their teeth. And I was like, I suppose if they don't spend money to maintain them, they
Yeah.
have more going out money. And
She said something else too.
they were like,
cheaper and
they're easier.
yeah.
I don't think
Wait,
she meant
like
easy
easier
as
to
in
take
like,
care
no.
of, or like easier?
I don't know. I don't know.
Took it as easier to deal with, but
Yeah.
who knows?
What on earth?
I
don't
couldn't
know.
help it though, because she made some statement at one point about like, I don't understand why guys would like a girl with no teeth.
Yeah.
And I thought about bringing it up, but then I was just like, nah, it's too early
She
in
was
the
just a
evening for
teeth
that.
Elita. She had really nice chompers.
Yeah. She just wanted to draw attention to that too.
Yeah.
Look at my teeth.
Oh my God, she was so funny. I was sitting next to her for a little while, and she turns to me. She goes, "I love food and I love to drink." And she would get up and go get a drink and come back out and be more drunk and more upset about Sean's preference to toothless women.
Yeah.
She found a way to bring it up in every conversation.
9 times. And by the end of the night, she's like, fucking Sean.
So yeah, we took Sean to a party last night for a friend of Bill's.
Yeah, an old colleague, work colleague.
Sean has never met these people before.
Oh yeah, it was great.
But they were nice enough to let us bring an extra person.
Yeah.
And everyone at this party just ganged up on Sean.
Yeah. At the beginning of the night, this Brazilian woman was like, "Oh my God, look at Sean. He's perfect." Blah blah blah. At the end of the night, it was like, "You like women with no teeth?" She was like mad at me. It's like, oh my God.
I was like, the toothless women do need loving too. And she was like, aghast. And I said, this is America, people like what they like,
I like how all these things I was accused of as well stemmed from like one little lie, and it just built up. It rolled.
Because we've deduced that it's either children or old ladies?
Oh, but it got at the end of the night. It got to the point where I was kidnapping old people, dating children,
and old ladies,
like,
fat old ladies.
I was like, what happened?
so this woman was legitimately drunkenly upset.
Yeah.
At this, she was disappointed that you had this preference for
Supposed preference
for the chomper impaired.
Like riled up, making fun of him.
Yeah.
And did you make any attempt
No.
to pull her aside and be
No.
like, it's
He
just a
did
big
that.
joke?
Nah.
That's what he does.
He's the most agreeable person.
It's so annoying.
Yep.
There is an element of humor in the fact that she possibly to this day, is still low key upset about
Yeah,
it.
she's probably home right now. She's like,
So I told her, I told her Sean and I went up to this state park in like Bradford County, PA, and we were hanging out at a bar, and the bartender was, I guess, I think maybe she was just so excited to see two people with all their chompers, she didn't want us to leave. And Sean was getting drunk, and I was his DD, since I don't drink anyway, and I wanted to get us invited to a mountain party, like a mountain poke. These were definitely mountain
That was
folk.
all the conversation.
We were in the boonies, and I'll be damned if somebody wasn't like, I'm pretty sure a mountain party's just an orgy. And I'm like, God, because I was talking about it last night. I'm like, God damn it, don't tell her that. She might think I'm talking about orgies, you know? Her English is very good, but she still gets confused about stuff. She told us so. And then she harped on it, and then I had to shift the blame to Sean. I was like, if anybody gets into orgies, it's Sean, because everybody likes them. And you didn't even help there. You just let her go on thinking it was orgy parties.
I mean, it is, right?
Confused a poor foreign lady.
Yeah.
My man.
My man. There 10 people,
Yes.
8 teeth.
Jesus Christ. It was good. It was a good night, you know. Yeah, people I never met before were.
There's at least two people in that group that have no teeth.
I mean, have you had a gum job?
That's what. Well, we determined. You know what usually happens is Sean goes up to a girl. A girl comes up to him because he's non-threatening, and they're like, "Well, I could fucking beat him up if I had to," and he shows interest, and then he's like, "Oh man, you got too many of them mouth bones," and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, these are falsies," and they just pop them out, and they got like one or two, and he's like, "I'm on board. Let's fucking
Game
do it."
on again.
Pause. Mouth bones.
Yeah.
What do you call them?
You call them gumbalina. That's what you call them. Your little gumbalina.
Gumbalina. Oh my God. My little Gumbalina.
What even is this? What are we doing?
That's his name of endearment for all his women.
Yeah,
It's just
and
Gumbalina.
in orgies, they're his.
Where are we?
It is orgies with the old people with false teeth. He refers to them as his indentured
Servants.
sex
Oh,
slaves,
you made
sex
that
servants.
joke, yeah.
His
Yeah.
indentured Gumbalinas.
Yeah, indentures.
Oh man, the hot takes today.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
boy.
What
but
even?
hey,
I schooled.
that place we went to was
So support us on Patreon.
but that
$10 a month gets you at least one episode a month, probably.
Oh, yeah.
We think.
You can fucking come be on one. Who gives a shit? $10. Hell yeah. We'll make up some lore about you. No, but we went to the Sasquatch. We went to the Sasquatch
Give you a
barbecue.
whole interesting
Yeah.
personality you didn't even know you had.
Yeah. Oh, the bartender, the thing that she got so excited, she started pulling money out of the register and giving it to us so that we could play music on the jukebox so we wouldn't leave. And that lasted until someone who knew her boyfriend came in and saw her being friendly with us, and then she had to play it cool. Yeah. But we almost got invited down to the bowling alley.
Which was their version of a mountain party, it seems like.
It was like, Sean, you asked her, what do you do around there?
Yeah, because we were talking to her. I'm like, what do you do around here? And she's like, well, there's this. There's another bar that closes an hour later. And she's like, there's a bowling alley about a half hour away. And that was it. I was like, oh, okay.
Drink and throw heavy things at stuff.
Yeah, so let's get back to the matter at hand and Sasquatch.
Sam Squinch.
Jesus Christ.
Man, we were...
Dude, I really want to talk about this.
No, but please do.
Yeah.
But I want to thank everyone who's listened this far. Because holy shit.
Dude, you're going to tell me.
All I'm saying is holy shit.
If you're still listening at this point.
I'm not protesting. I'm not critiquing. Just wow.
Well,
journey.
The way I sell this podcast is I tell people, I'm like, it's not heavy material. it's really nice to listen to while you're doing something else. And I think this Sasquatch conversation is right up that alley. I think this is, you know.
Just lock your kids up somewhere else.
I'm just going to tell you.
Hide your kids, hide your wives.
So what do you want to tell me about Sasquatch?
Everybody on the planet says there's a Sasquatch. You got the abominable snowman. You got the big feet. You got the Sasquatch. And you're telling me you don't think there's any truth to it?
No.
You don't think that there's any Sasquatches?
No.
We just found rhinos
You know
for the
what?
first time
You know
in some
what?
fucking
Actually,
country over in Asia.
I take that back. Now that I know they can teleport and turn invisible, you know what? There probably are.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
We're just learning new stuff every day. So
There could be one in this room right now.
There's not one in
There's at least
I
one
would
in this
know.
room.
We'd smell them.
Oh,
I do.
Okay, fair enough.
Currently.
Dude,
do you know what they smell like?
Okay, listen here.
I'm listening.
In North America 10,000 years ago, there was a 13-foot tall giant sloth. So we know America can have some big-ass
do you
animals. We found bones.
Have you seen these bones?
I
about
had a
these
nightmare
mouth
about them, and one of these giant sloths slashed me from the top of my head down through my belly, and all my guts shot out. And it was very real, and I'm sure it was accurate. And it was on Jurassic Peninsula. How do I know? I got a bird's eye view. Horrible dream. Anyway,
Jurassic Peninsula.
yeah, there was a fence, so I couldn't escape. So
You've been playing that.
you
game too
are
much.
telling me we already know America can have the big animals.
Yeah.
So there's probably just another big monkey. I mean, Neanderthals were around. They were fucking pumping iron and being dumb. And, you know, why couldn't there just... If the Loch Ness Monster is real, which it is, why couldn't there be a couple of Sasquatches just living in the woods of Oregon where nobody goes?
What else do you think's real?
Aliens?
Oh.
Aliens.
Yeah. Secret Nazi base on the backside of the moon? I mean, what else is there? Run it by me and I'll tell you whether or not it's real.
Said Nazis are working on a zombie virus, by the way.
Vampires.
Do I think vampires are real?
Yeah.
Vampire bats are real? Have they ever bitten a person?
Probably.
Well, then there you go. I mean,
They
how
become
simple
a
is that?
vampire?
Unicorns.
Unicorns?
Yeah.
They used to be
fucking-
real.
Oh, okay.
The
They were
Bible
under
mentions
extinction
them.
with the dodo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their horns kept getting stuck in trees, so they were very easy to kill.
Well, shit.
Yeah. What else?
What a great image that is. I'm imagining like a rotting away body stuck in a tree.
You're good.
The status of the Earth. What shape is it?
A 100-sided polygon.
How did the
sphere.
Earth come to be?
It's like a giant D&D die.
Oh. So close. Like we're almost there with the sphere. But
You're getting there.
It's a series of flat spaces. It's the best of both worlds. Why can't we just compromise? You know?
Intuition is the best way to solve these sorts of things.
Yeah, duh.
How did the universe come to be?
I'll get back to you.
Okay,
we
think
can
about
start
it.
smaller. Do you believe that the Earth is the center of the universe?
No, you're the center of my universe.
Aww.
That's very sweet. But I mean, like, not in that way, like the literal way.
Well,
It's like that's a lot of responsibility.
I don't really listen.
Do the heavens rotate above the Earth, or does the Earth move about within the?
This is such a misleading question because the universe is clearly curved in a loop. That's why everything's accelerating away from each other. Okay, have you ever seen a vertical asymptote? When it comes to the one, it goes up to positive infinity. And then you move over to the other side and it comes back from negative infinity. Well, what happens on the asymptote? It loops around. The universe is just like that. It goes forever in the opposite direction, and eventually you get back to the other line, and we're just accelerating around the curve, and we're coming back. And guess what? We're all going to get squished back down into that little singularity fart bubble that was the pre-bang.
The big crunch.
Yeah, the big crunch, and then it's going to finger bang itself into the big finger bang,
The big finger bang.
Finger bang.
yeah, and then we're all going to be back again.
The big finger bang.
Yeah, and we'll be here again.
Also known as an orgy.
That was surprisingly more grounded in modern theory than I expected.
Well, we're all made of strings anyway.
I don't know enough to argue.
Who's here
it.
read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I don't read books. Actually, I did read a book, but go ahead. No.
One,
Did you read it?
Yeah. I subscribe to that theory.
Oh my God! Here we go. 42. What is it? What is it you subscribe
Well,
to?
that has to do with 42. Yeah, the Earth is just a giant supercomputer built by aliens hired by mice to solve the question: what's the most important thing in life, the universe, and everything? And it spits out 42.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Earth is just a giant computer built by aliens.
You're so interesting.
Why do I feel like depressed after that?
Because it has no meaning.
Because you're spending time talking with this fucking shell.
Like we wasted a good 30 seconds listening to
this
that.
sickly weight around our collective neck.
I mean, you're right.
I mean, the whole book starts off, they want to destroy Earth to make way for a highway.
I'm going to talk about books I read that were fun.
Yes, Sean.
It's one of the greatest books ever written. I love that book.
Of course you do.
All right, what book do you read?
I read 7 books, 7 of them. It was
great.
probably 10,000 pages.
Well, now I don't know what to believe because you said a book earlier.
Yeah.
I read a book 7 times.
Not
They
the
were
same
different.
one.
Yeah.
I did the act of reading a book 7 times, and they were all related. And actually, I think it was like 2,100
It's a
pages.
series.
Oh, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm caught up now.
It's part of the Deathgate Cycle series. I think I might have mentioned it briefly.
Deathgate Cycle.
It's pretty fucking cool. I was in the Goodwills, and they sell hardcover books, hardcover books is what they're called, for $2 a piece there. And I was just like, I have this nostalgia for hardcover books. And I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to find ones that look cool, and I'm going to buy them. Anything that looks like fantasy, because I'm ready for a new fantasy book. You back in the day, I think you and I, when we were in like 6th or 7th grade, did you read the Abhorsen series? Lirael, Sabriel, and the Abhorsen?
Oh, I did, yeah.
And so that was basically a book series about death being a river with different levels, and you rang bells to do things in the afterworld. And I was like, if you gave me 1 trillion years to imagine a story, I never would imagine this. That's what I love so much about this different fantasy. So this one, the Deathgate Cycle, I picked it up, and it turns out I bought 6 of the 7 books from Goodwill for $2 a piece. I just kept buying all the fantasy books that looked related. And I got through 5 of them. I had to buy the 6th one, which I got for $13. Well, let me tell you, it was a fucking blast. It's one of the most highly rated fantasy series. Like if you go to fantasyseries.com and review it, the basic idea is that humans, dwarves, and elves exist. The elves and humans both practice magic, but they're not very good at it. Interestingly, the elves are not the nature-oriented ones with their magic. They do mechanical shit, and the humans are nature-oriented, and the dwarves live underground, as they always do. But the world has been split into 4 different worlds by these super magical beings that have been missing for a long time, the Sartan, and they were fighting their sworn enemies, the Patrons, who were cast into this magical prison that's been horrible, and they do this really cool magic. And this story, it's a nice take on old themes, humans, elves, and dwarves, but it's not the same style that I'm so used to, where the elves are like the cool tree people fucking hanging out, and humans are barbarous but industrious, and the dwarves are super cool crap. It's just different. And some of the characters are really, really engaging. The dialogue's fun, very creative. I don't want to spoil any of it, but
It's been out for a while.
yeah, and that's the thing. But it was like, you can pick up the series for like $60 if you want to get it all together off eBay. But I read it over the course of 5 months every day before I went to bed, and I loved it. I crushed through the last half of the book in a single night because I was so ready to finish it. And I'll tell you this, that fantasy, a lot of books don't do, they wrapped everything up super nicely. Like even the shit that they're like, we can't touch on every character everywhere. They gave you a reason why we couldn't know about what happened to those people. They're like, we closed the door on them, and we can never know. It was a fucking blast, and it has reawakened my love of reading again. So now I'm an old man, and before I go to sleep, I stop playing Counter-Strike, and I read my little book by my light bulb, and then I start to doze off, and then I go to bed. and it's great, and I don't stay up late.
What's the series called again?
The Death Gate Cycle. It is tremendous. You could borrow it from me if you want it. I know you won't read, though. You're too busy chasing down Toothless Wonders, but and I forgot how much I like to read. Man. I literally hadn't read in like 5 or 6 years because there's always something else to do, you know?
Nor have I. I got most of that shelf behind you, Genevieve, is unread. In fact,
but it looks so cool.
Almost all of it.
I just finished the Game of Thrones last book.
Oh yeah, I have the first 5.
Yeah, I never got through the last book. I got halfway through and I just lost steam.
That's what I did. And I found it recently and I read it, but after watching the series, I'm very disappointed.
Do you think we're ever going to get those books?
I really just wanted to finish this damn homework.
We might get one more book, I think, and then that's it.
By his decision, or he's just gonna?
He's not gonna eat it. Okay. Yeah, he's already had a heart attack, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't know that.
I think he did, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know for sure, but
yeah,
sounds familiar.
Could be false information, but
we don't need to talk about the show.
Yeah.
I share largely the opinions of every YouTuber who's covered it far more in depth than we possibly could.
Yeah.
I've spent more time watching those people talk about season 8 and the series at large than I did watching season 8. Yeah. So,
so I was talking about Egret to Sean. He's like, oh man, I'm a sucker for that accent. Oh, I end up redhead. Oh, and I'm like, Sean, you're like every fucking person on the planet. Yeah. That accent and a redhead.
She's hot.
Yeah. Get like, duh. You're like, nah, bro.
You're not special, okay?
Nah, bro. This is different.
He's allowed.
This is different.
He's allowed to express his celebrity crush. Thank you.
It's my celebrity.
One I happen to share, and I'll fight you to the death for.
I'm just saying, John's an idiot.
Well, now that
John should have stayed up north.
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, I got this bomb ass shorty to hang out with. See you later, fucking crow faces. Whatever. Let the Death Knight stab me. I don't care.
The Death Knight.
Yeah, the Chili Boy.
The Chili Boys.
But,
Death Knight and the Chili Boys. Coming to
great band name.
Temperance House, New Tempe.
Oh my God. But she's married now to Kit Harrington.
Kit Harington. Jon Snow.
So she can't be mine.
I thought he didn't want it.
I don't.
That sounded like how James May would say it, and now I need James May to say that. Captain Slow. I don't want it.
I don't want it. I don't want it, mate.
Oh my God.
I don't. She's my queen.
Did you've watched the Grand Tour? Is it good?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Is it gooder or badder than
than Top Gear?
Yeah.
I think it's every bit as quality made, if not better. I think they have a bigger budget because Amazon, Bezos. They go all over the map all the time. They change up the bits more frequently. I mean, they don't have things like the Stig, right? Because copyright. But they have new, shorter-term gimmicks that are hilarious. Their sense of humor is completely unbridled. And they have more freedom to be a little more profane because Amazon.
Oh, that's nice.
A little. And they just do like equally insane shit. Like they're insane. Fucking insane.
Well, that show has always really been about...
It's 3 old British men who hate each other.
And it was their relationship that drove the show.
Yeah,
right?
And it's intact.
And then you're like, well, this is just 3 old British guys fucking around with each other. This is kind of dumb. And then you're like, oh, the videography of these beautiful cars is actually astounding.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're really entertaining reviewers.
And I wasn't a car guy. I'm not really a car guy. Like, I know how they go now, but I'd watch that show and it still made me feel included. It was so engaging.
Yeah. That show made me into a quasi car guy. Like
quasi car guy.
Seriously, like I don't go too out of my way. It's not like it is a passive interest of mine in a field of, hobbies and actual interests. But it's entirely because of that show that I know anything at all, or started to have any curiosity about the subject. It's so fucking good. I pitch it to everyone all the time. It's one of those things I'm always Top Gear also, but the Grand Tour. Like if you have Amazon Prime, you can already watch it. Right
Straight up. I haven't watched it yet because it gets me so fired up. I'm like, I need to drive a fucking, I got to drive this supercar and I can't.
Yeah.
So it's like, I got to.
There is that angle of it.
I got to take a pause.
I mean, it's not the sort of thing you can just kind of indulgently go do, most likely, is actually obtain one of these cars, because for the most, you're getting one.
Right.
And if you're getting one, it's not going to be a supercar because you need at least several six figures.
Wait a minute.
Lying around, burning a hole in your pocket.
You were in a really nice car. You got up to $150 in it. You got a buddy who has a Lotus now.
Oh, shit.
I just remembered this. Tell us about, what did he take you out in?
His friend actually has like 10 supercars, a McLaren, Lamborghini.
How many did you get to ride in?
None of those, but his Lotus, he actually traded in his Audi R8 to get the Lotus.
And that's what you were in, right?
I love an Audi R8.
I was in both.
No shit.
I drove the Lotus.
Tell us what it was like.
Well, I was in it when he was racing the Lotus, and that was pretty intense. We got pretty fast, and it's just, if you're driving your car fast, it's one thing. Okay, you're going fast. If you're in a car going 150 miles an hour and you're in the passenger seat,
no control.
It's different because I couldn't control the car at all. I wasn't in control. My chest and heart hurt. I was just like, I felt terrible. I was like, this is not enjoyable at all. And I think it's 100% because I just had no control. I was like, well, this is it.
What was
I'm crashing to death right now.
Yeah. What is that speed like? Does it feel like you're doing 150?
Does it like?
It feels like you're. No, it just feels like you're going super fast. And then I'm like, how fast did we go? It's like, oh, it was 150. I was like, okay. That was...
You would say that. You'd be like, okay.
Well, I mean, like...
Even when you're dying of a heart attack next to him.
Have you guys ever flown?
Yes.
No.
Because you get faster than that on takeoff. But the thing is you're in a giant tube looking out of a tiny window at most.
Yeah.
Right? Which is very different from being in a little car with a massive windscreen in front of you and seeing the world. I can't imagine, but I think the only defensive mechanism against that kind of fear is the same sort of thing that you have to accept getting on an airplane.
Yeah.
It's like, there is nothing you can do.
Right.
But most likely you're going to be fine.
Oh, yeah. It was great. It was also like the dump of adrenaline, too.
Yeah.
It was just... And I was filming, so I was watching the car going. I was just zooming past it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, we are flying."
To be fair, Al Qaeda doesn't have any insurgent deer in the sky, but they seem to be suicide deer bombers all over Pennsylvania, jumping in front of your
on the
cars.
ground.
Yeah, it was fucking scary.
They tend to be a little dumb and leave their bombs at home, but they're definitely a frequent nuisance.
So everyone remember, bring your grenades.
So it's a mercy. But
standard issue
everywhere you
civilian
go.
hand
so
grenade.
like I've driven my Corolla, and that thing, it gets, I think you get up to 85, and that thing, you're like, we're going too fast.
Yeah.
And my dad used to have a BMW, and you'd be cruising along at 95, you're like, oh shit, why did I get going that fast? Right? I can almost imagine that's what it's like in this Lotus. It's just like the car's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but you look outside and all you see is a blur.
So, well, that too, and like you've flown, right? So it's the sudden G-force. Like, I just learned it when we did it, but it was rolling 40s. You each go 40 miles an hour next to each other. You honk your horn 3 times. You floor it. All of a sudden, I was like glued to the seat. We went from 40 miles an hour to 150 within seconds.
Jesus.
Like, I was like, holy shit.
I was driving down the highway one time, and this Maserati was just kind of like fucking around at, I think we were doing 70, and he had enough of us, and he pulled in the left lane. He got up to like 100 miles an hour in the blink of an eye. Yeah. It was like a fucking 12-cylinder engine. I was like, I don't even know what's real power is,
Well, here's the other thing. We were met up with these 2 kids. They saw the Lotus, and they had R6s, bikes, motorcycles, and so we had some races with them. They were bikes, so they clearly went a little bit faster. So he was doing, 130, 140, whatever, and these bikes would just disappear in front of us. Oh, so God knows how fast they were going. And I was like, oh, they are going to die. Like one day. Yeah.
Those are no joke. I mean, that's the thing. Like, tiny means you need a lot less power to do crazy shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they're
So
just like, see?
I've lent Sean my old laptop with the idea that we could start playing games together, and that lasted all of 2 weeks, and then he betrayed me and abandoned it.
Not getting on it anymore.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, why don't, and to be fair, it's not quite as capable, but he's got a good job now. And I'm like, just buy a PC. Just buy a PC so we can maintain a friendship over the hundreds of miles, I have been your loyal friend. Anyway, instead of doing that, he bought himself a car, which developed a rattle, and I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. He goes, yeah, I checked the warranty. It was 1 month or 1,000 miles.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say probably.
At least it wasn't a brand new car. And then the other thing, then he bought himself
brand new.
He bought himself a fucking motorcycle.
Hell yeah.
Instead of a PC.
Like
and
his own PC.
And every once in a while, we'll be talking. We'll be like on the phone, or when he came down to visit, and it gets quiet between us, and he just goes, "God, I love that fucking bike." So tell us what that's been like. Yeah,
don't realize I do that. Oh, I love it. You got my old bike.
Yeah, I have your old bike. It's hidden behind a piece of wood.
So I always wanted to ride, so I paid $300 for this 1996 Ninja 500. And when I picked it up, the guy's like, "Oh, it works great. It just you need a relay for the turn signal." I'm like, "All right, whatever." So I had my buddy who actually knew how to ride a bike pick it up, and on the way back from that place to my house, the speedometer cable broke. So now I have this bike. The turn signal was solid on the left. I couldn't tell how fast I was going. None of the lights lit up in the front at night, so I couldn't see any of the dashboard. So then I found out later that it, like days later, it leaked gas and oil because I left it in one spot. There'd be like a puddle. Like
almost everything that could go wrong.
Yeah. I paid $300 for it. I learned how to ride. It was great. Eventually it would in the middle of a ride, it would just lose all power. Like I had no go.
So sleepy.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all took it out.
It was because I pull over the side of the road, turn it off, sit there for a few seconds, and when I turned it back on, it was fine. So
it's just a moody old man.
Yeah. So I didn't ride it for a long time, and Bill took it, and then
I traded you a Bowflex and a Life Cycle stationary bike. Got that out of my basement. We brought that into your house, covered in spider eggs. You're welcome. Yeah, and then I just strapped his motorcycle into the truck I rented, and we left. Fair trade. That's America.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I love this thing, and I was like, I hate spiders, and he puts it in my living room. This thing is covered
Bowflex
in spider sacks. Like I was like, oh, great, awesome, just what I wanted. And you're like, I tried to clean it up. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway.
That might have been a lie.
Yeah, clearly.
I might have just not tried very hard. I'm not a liar, okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm not a liar. I make jokes, and then I tell the truth.
Anyway, this motorcycle, it's a Ninja 650 2019. It has, all right, so the old bike I had on the top gear, like open throttle, 80 miles is probably the top speed. Okay, it was falling apart. This bike has so much more power. Like, I got up to 115 miles an hour. I will never go that fast again. Don't need to go that fast. My bike red lines at 13,000 RPMs. I was about 8,000, 9,000 RPMs going that fast. God knows how fast this bike can go. I'll never find out. This thing, yeah. Well, I was telling you, I
sound like a coward to me.
Oh.
Sound like a bit of a pussy.
Next week when you're reading my obituary, you'll know why.
And it just says pussy.
Pussy.
Some pussy wrecked his bike at 55 miles an hour.
He's trying to redline
it. Yeah, I just love it. I like Saturdays when I have off, it's a nice day. I will ride that thing for like 300 miles just all day.
Just hop on a motorcycle for 300 miles.
It's just like a picture of his face next to it. I love it.
Say.
Yeah, that's it.
The cops like, could we put pink spray paint on your car or on your motorcycle? Just suits him.
Suits him, yeah.
Pink like a pussy.
Yeah, I love. Here's the other thing. It's great because after riding like 200 miles in a day, whatever, I'm like, oh shit, I'm low on gas. I go up to the gas station. I put $7 of gas in my tank, and I have another 250 miles I can zoom around. Great.
So there's a lot of nice windy roads in PA, especially up where you are. You're getting closer to the middle. But aren't there potholes everywhere? How do you stay safe?
Well, I mean, certain roads you avoid, but yeah, you just gotta pay attention. When you're on a bike, have you ever read to get your permit for your motorcycle, the booklet they give you, the DMV? Basically, what it boils down to, every page is telling you this thing we're talking about on this page is trying to kill you. Next page you go on, all right, this thing's something different, but this is also trying to kill you. Yeah. So basically, you had to pretend you're invisible. I mean, I had cops pull out in gas stations right in front of me. God. Like, and then like, oh, they wave their hand, like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it just, you got to pretend you're invisible, pay attention on the road. But
yeah, and that doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
My stepmother actually used to work in a like a ward, like a mental ward, and like half the patients were motorcycle accidents, and they were just like permanent brain damage. And you know, everything you saw in like 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
It's just real and like actually horrifying. And so there's that, and then you also don't have anywhere near the level of luxury to like, you know, goof off like you can in the driver's seat of a car. Yeah. Like, good luck playing Pokemon Go on your motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sure it could be done, but boy, oh boy, are you about 3 times dumber on a bike.
I mean, I see videos of people on the highway like using their feet to steer and they're leaning back on their phone. And I was like, oh, okay.
What?
Oh yeah. People are idiots when it comes to safety.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, there's this whole, there's so many different communities around motorcycles, you know, but I feel like it draws a consistent person who kind of likes to live a little bit more of an exciting lifestyle. You get, I mean, occasionally you get your riders who dress for the slide, not the ride, and they're cautious and whatever. But whenever I think of these like ninjas and people doing 180 miles on them, 180 miles an hour on them, I think of the guys who come back from like Kuwait or whatever, and they're like, I have so many issues going on right now. I have survivor's guilt, and also I have felt adrenaline levels that my body can never reach again. And the only way to get there is with this fucking motorcycle. And it's like, it's just such a different world to me. And motorcycles to me still seem like one of the few things that's still the Wild West. Like, you get those airships. I watched a video, the helicopters, I think they call them like airships. They do like 120 miles an hour.
Gunships?
Well, whatever the police, just the police helicopters.
Oh, okay.
They do like 120 miles an hour. I watched a video of somebody in California in like a Cobra SS doing 145 out running the thing. 145 is nothing to these motorcycles. They'll do 180. Oh, yeah. But now, and like you get talking to cops, and I guess it's sort of like an open secret. Half the time these motorcycles blow by doing 120, the cops just don't even bother.
Nope.
Right? They're just like, I'm not going to.
In some places they're not allowed to pursue past a certain speed.
Well, for sure, but it's especially in like surface streets, but I'm talking like on the highway, even like state troopers, they'll just be like, by the time I get up to speed, they'll be gone or they'll be wrapped around a tree. Yep. There's like nothing I can do. You know, I've talked to bikers who they're like, yeah, I drove by at $110. I saw the cop. I pulled over. And the cop gets up and goes, I appreciate you not running. Here's your warning. Get out of here. Because nobody even got close to getting hurt. So, but it is the Wild West. Like this idea that you're too fast for the government to even try. I was like, you know what? You just go right ahead, man.
Taking your life in your own hands.
It's
like
to
kill anyone else.
There's something sort of romantic about it. You know, like it's something that feels very America to me. Whether or not
I actually talked to the two people we were racing that one day. I was actually talking to my friend in the car, and I was like, if police show up, and he's like, they don't care. And I was like, why? He's like, well, look at their license plate. They were right in front of us. And like, can you make out the license plate? And I said, no. He's like, so the camera's not going to make it out either. And they just drop a gear and they're gone. Like, that's it. So yeah, they're not worried. I'm like, oh, well, it makes sense. Like they don't have to worry.
I had a buddy who used to drive a souped up Crown Vic. I think he bought it off a police auction or something. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I do like $110 in that. And he's like, you blow by a cop, they see you going that fast in Crown Vic, they just assume you're an unmarked car and they let you go. Like, that's pretty wild. Yeah. But
when it comes to bikes, though, I am. Doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees out. I have my jacket on. I have my Kevlar jeans on. I do need to buy boots. That's one of the few remaining pieces of gear I need to buy. But if I'm going down, I'm not
going down.
Yeah. I had a buddy I was talking to. His buddy had a motorcycle, and when he first crashed, he had a road rash. Yeah,
great game, by the way.
Right on his upper legs, lower butt. And he was telling my friend that he had to sleep butt like ass in the air every night,
face down, ass up. That's the way we like it.
If he slept normally, his butt skin would touch his leg skin and heal together, fuse. And every morning you have to wake up and like break that. And I was like, yeah, no.
Road rash. It wasn't quite that annoying, but it was extremely fucking annoying.
Oh yeah.
Were you like skateboarding or something?
It was like a scooter. I was going down. It was
a rascal. Okay.
it was like a Razor, and back in like the early 2000s or whatever, and my buddy Kevin, childhood best friend, lived on this road that curved into like a steep hill. And it was great for like luge boarding and biking, whatever. It was just a long straight stretch in like a quiet little neighborhood. And I'm going down on the scooter, and I hit like those scooters weren't meant for that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Really, none of what we did it with kind of technically was, but whatever. I think I hit like a rock or something with the front wheel, and I like went to correct, and the steering, the handlebars were no longer driving the front wheel. Just slipped loose somehow.
Yeah.
So now I have useless handlebars at an awkward, like cockeyed position in my hands, going rather fast downhill, and down I went.
Yeah.
And I think it was like my left like shoulder and tricep and like a bit on my knees and maybe one other little spot. And of course we were supposed to go to we did go to Dorney Park the next day, and I basically was just like I was Captain Bandage. I was just like, I can do nothing.
Dude, I had a buddy, one of my college friends. He does longboarding a lot, and he got like
I have to find my longboard.
The death wobbles on it. And the board started to wobble at a certain speed, and he fell off, and he slid, and he hit his head on like the stand, the metal leg of a guardrail. And he like fractured his neck, and he broke a big chunk out of his scapula and all this stuff. And there was a video of it, and you watch it and you're just like, it doesn't look great. I mean, he almost fucking died, but he doesn't remember it. He just had to wear a halo for 9 months or whatever. A company gave him money for the rights to that video. They're like, yeah, in case it ever blows up, we'll give you 10% on the back end or whatever, and here's $300 up front. And he's in college. He's like, fuck yeah, hell yeah. But it never got big. But it was I just there's that moment of helplessness, like those falls that you describe where like you're moving forward too fast and you can't even get into a neat tumble. You're just like, oh, no matter what I do, this is not gonna fall good.
Your control is forfeit.
So you got to be careful if you're grab ass. And first off, don't grab ass, don't drive fast, kids. Be safe. We're not condoning any of this, and we're all hypothetically talking about it. We've never actually done anything dangerous or illegal, so don't you do it. But hypothetically, I had a cousin who had a nice car, and he just pulled up at a traffic light, and another guy pulled up at a nice car. And they both went, and they're just like, let's stomp on our gas and show off to each other. So that's what they did, and they got pulled over by these 2 cops for speeding. But he goes, you were doing with that other car, you were racing. So it turns out that your speeding ticket, if they can say that it was racing because you were doing it with another car, is like way more severe. They just went, your license is gone. The guy's a fucking mechanic. My cousin's a mechanic. And he couldn't drive any of the cars he had to work on for like 6 months because, oh man.
Illegal street racing.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Well,
you know, and they got up to like, you know, probably 65 and a 45 or whatever. But he just, you guys were racing. Fucking sucks. You got it, some? Are you in a biker gang yet? You wearing a cut?
no.
Sweet leather vest?
No. I do have a crew that
Your squad?
Yeah, squad. There's like 10 people in it. We go out riding sometimes. Yeah.
Do any of them ride a souped up rascal? You're in those little electric scooters?
No.
That'd be awesome.
No.
There's an electric motorcycle out there that you can buy. It's like really expensive.
Yeah.
The thing about it is its range is only like 90 miles. If I could get a 300-mile ranged electric motorcycle, I'd be all about it.
I think I know what you're talking about. It goes fucking fast.
It's called like the Zero or something.
I forget what it's called too.
Well, everything any electric vehicle is uniformly has better acceleration.
Yeah,
there's no rev time.
Yeah.
It's just the motors go.
Do you know why that is, Genevieve?
I do not know that.
All right, I will explain it. When it comes to your typical internal combustion engine, there's an RPM range at which the engine produces the most amount of torque. Torque is the force that it's turning the shaft, which can turn the wheels, right? And that's typically in the mid-range RPMs. It's different for different vehicles, but it's not at 1,000. To get maximum power, the car has to accelerate to this range. With electric motors, they have full access to maximum torque from 0 RPMs all the way up to some crazy revolution, which is why, like, I still don't understand exactly how it works, but electric motors, like in Teslas, they don't need transmissions. The engine doesn't need to convert the torque at all. They just hook it right up to the wheels. It's fucking bananas.
Mm-hmm. So you'll like if you watch Top Gear or the Grand Tour and you watch them review an electric car, they will inevitably compare it to an equivalent petrol, right? And at least not necessarily in top speed, but in acceleration to top speed, the electric vehicle's 100%.
Unreal.
Take it.
Yeah.
The Tesla's working on its new Roadster, and they gave it this crazy acceleration, and by doing that, they put so many batteries in it that it's got like 1,000-mile range now, 800-mile range. It's, of course, the car is going to cost $200,000, but we'll wrap up this section and kick it to a break. But I wanted to throw this out there. So when I say Corvette, when I talk about a Corvette, what do you guys picture in your head?
Like the older version?
We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
Gee, so you know where I'm getting at. But like when you think of a Corvette and a Corvette owner, what comes to mind?
You talking just like body shape?
Just like, you know,
the lifestyle.
Look at it. Yeah. Look at, like, close your eyes and in your head, what kind of person do you see driving it?
I know a single Corvette owner. He's probably pushing his 60s now. He's Italian. All the stereotypes of an Italian loudmouth. He's hilarious. He's a longtime family friend named Ben. He is a spicy meatball. I don't think he would disagree. And he bought himself a Corvette in like the late aughts of this century. I think, or it was like, early 2010s, right? And he is hysterical and married to a woman 10 years younger than him, and happens to work for my dad. And at least that much it comes to mind first because I know the guy.
That's sort of what I've always seen. Like in my head, it's like an older guy, because they're expensive, and he's like at the point in his life where he can get himself what he wants. And a Corvette, and it's like
almost like midlife crisis.
I think of a long-nosed car, looks good, sounds good, but it's not exactly sporty. I mean, anything for you to add, Sean? Anything
They
else?
pretty much nailed the.
Okay.
Yeah.
They announced the 2020 Corvette. Let me tell you about this motherfucker. It's mid-engine now. Looks like a Ferrari.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It has a V8 on it, a naturally aspirated V8, meaning there's not a turbo on it. Everything that you get now has a fucking turbo on it. Because emissions, you get like turbo V6s, turbo 4 cylinders. This thing looks like a goddamn supercar. It 0 to 60 in, I think, just over 3 seconds. V8, old school American V8. Sounds great. That's what the natural aspiration's for.
Looks nice.
It has the ability to raise and lower its nose so it doesn't scrape on steeper driveways.
Oh, get out.
Starting price, under $60,000.
Fuck out of here.
I was talking to a guy at work and he made the point. He's like, there's no reason for you to buy any other supercar, performance car until you get over $200,000. This thing just shits on it. It's like, there's two things that are going to happen. The old Corvettes are going to plummet in price because this thing is the new Mac Daddy. The second thing is, when these become used at $30,000, they're going to be attainable to millennials. And that's specifically what they were trying to do. They're like, Chevy's like, how do we market this car that's seen as like an older guy, unattainable car to younger people? Mid-engine, affordable price. I cannot believe it. I have never ever considered getting a Corvette until this thing came out.
Yeah, dude. That makes two of us.
In like 5 years, when I'm like settled and I got, I'm making bigger boy money and these things are coming out used for like the low 30s or whatever, which is the price of another new car. But
sure.
Holy fuck, dude! Imagine driving around in that thing.
The price of like a Ford Escape with all the options.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's pretty sick looking.
I'm sure the maintenance isn't cheap, but god damn. I'm not used to companies coming out with something that like knocks my socks off in such a positive way. I'm not used to them being like, you're the generation we're catering towards right now. How do you like this? And then smacking it out of the park. Like, there's not a bunch of YOLOs and Heats on here. You know what I mean? Usually there's not May-Mays. This is just a sick car. And I'm not a car guy. I don't know shit. But I know enough to know that this is fucking lit, dude. All right, Sean. So how many pints of blood are you going to sell to get this thing?
I don't need to sell pints of blood for this. I'm rich now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All that time not buying computers.
All right,
Yeah,
everybody.
Exactly.
Thanks for sticking with us on this front side. We're going to come back. We're going to do a little bit of game talk, your favorite stuff on this gaming channel. Hey, catch you on the flip side. Here we are. We're back. And we're the coolest guys. Except, well, I'll include Sean for now. And Genevieve's
Pending
a girl.
review.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Thanks, Jake. I find that all my high IQ friends are suspicious of Sean. And it's nice.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Sean usually gets along with we go around and a lot of people like him. Your average Joes like him. But when I hang out with people who are like, intelligent, highly intelligent, successful individuals, like that party last night. They're all like, this guy's fucked, you know, and it brings me great joy.
They all loved me. What are you talking about?
Okay. So, I wanted to give another big shout out to our friends at the Crash and Burn show, which is basically, their dreams are the same as our dreams. They started a podcast in a garage, and now they're on a radio at midnight. And if you recall, I think I talked about it here, right? I talked about on the show how I did an interview on the radio, and it was a blast. Well, I went back there because they wanted me to do some more voice work. And it was pretty neat. I went and I listened to one of their recent episodes, and your boy Billy Two Guns, was in the fucking episode introduction. I did the coffee killer voice, but I did it for midnight radio. And they spliced it in, and they're like, I went in to do basically a movie trailer. It's an advertisement for a pizza place at which one of the guys works. And they're like, hey, do you mind coming? I'm like, this is a fucking blast. It's in front of that equipment. Oh my God. He's like, oh, have you heard the final version of your previous thing? And I was like, no, go ahead and play it. So it's me talking. I'm like, all right, I recognize this, but they put it over this swelling music, and then they cut it, and they go a big fart sound. I was like, this is it. I have made it. I'm a professional. And they did their thing, and then I wrapped it up, and they wrap it up with another fart. It was just like, it's strange because it was the realization of a dream in, like, I suppose the most attainable version of it, but it didn't make it any less sweet. I've always dreamed of doing something like that, doing voice work on the actual radio. And I got to do it with these really, really wonderful people. So I went back in and we did this other thing, and I got to talking to them. And I wish they were a little closer to you, Jake, because I just want you to get in there and get hands on this equipment. I was like, I had misrepresented it before. I was like, oh, how old is this equipment? I figured it was like from the 80s, but it was really high quality stuff, or the 90s or whatever. Because I've always heard that scuttlebutt that things used to be made better audio anyway, better high quality, and like speakers from the 90s, blah, blah, blah. This guy goes, maybe 5 years old. They're almost brand new. I was like, what? He goes, yeah. When big time radio stations upgrade their equipment, they just donate this to the school so that the kids who are coming out of the broadcast programs here already know how to use the best equipment. And like, I'm sitting in front of this mic, and I'm trying to look at the brand so that I can buy one. I could save up to buy instead of that new Corvette. And it's like the actual like input, the netting is like 8 inches long, and he turned it. It was like the gain was really turned up, and I was like 2 feet away from the mic, just like shooting the shit, and I could hear myself on my microphones as clearly as you can hear me now. Mm-hmm. This thing was so sensitive. And I looked at the board, and there's just all these sliders, and I was like, Jake would love this. Jake would fucking love this.
All these sliders and buttons?
Yeah. So what we did this time is he's like, I didn't have any copy to read, which makes me a little nervous at first, but we went through. And basically he's like, I want to do a movie trailer style thing with a guy eating pizza. And I want you to talk about how there's a bunch of different toppings, and I wanted to get more and more ridiculous as you go on. So I'll give you a little taste of what I ended up doing. So it was like, there's going to be a guy eating pizza, and I go, hey, you eating that pizza? You think you're enjoying that pizza? You don't even know pizza. Come to Big Zach's Pizza, where you can get any toppings: mushrooms, peppers, pepperoni, more mushrooms, dirt, money, and mushrooms. And, you know, and we just got goofy, and it was like, it only took us a half an hour, but and I got to tell you, it's really been cool. What was really helpful was the vibe that you do, Jake, where, you know, we record, and you're like, listen, we record pretty much everything, and unless there's a good reason, I'm not getting rid of it. Like, unless there's a real, like a security reason or a job reason, I'm leaving it in. And like, we crossed that line. One of my favorite moments of the podcast, Frank told a joke that fell so flat on its face. It was like Space Mexicans or something in like episode 5. And he's like, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of that." Jack's like, "No." I got to listen to it in the show, and I was like, "Oh, this is so good." And,
yeah, fuck you all.
yeah. And so
That's how I run the show.
It has gotten me so used to just talking and being like, I know I might sound like a doofus, whatever. Because of course, when I listen to myself recorded back, I'm like, that guy, me, sounds like a fucking dum-dum. But
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm used. I was like, he's like, how do you want to do this? And I was like, just record everything and you can cut it up, right? You can take whatever you want. And like, because I'm so used to doing that on our show, it like a weight off my shoulders because I didn't have to perform. I just threw shit out there and we worked new material. And like we had a little bit of a hiccup. I blew out the mics a little bit on the top end, because they're so sensitive. It sounded garbled. And the last one we went into was good, but it took a half an hour. I shook his hand. I said, "Call me back in if you need me." The other exciting thing was they are now doing a show Wednesdays from 4 to 6. So your commute hour, and it's not their podcast. They shoot the shit like us. They talk more about life in general, but they're started to do a music show and they promote their show at night. And I was like, I want to get Jake in the studio because I feel like your heart would grow 3 times that day when you saw that equipment. And they use like Audacity to record. You just you'd be a pig in shit. But I was like, do you guys ever have a metal hour? And they're like, well, it's pretty wide open. I was like, well, if we can find one, I know a guy who makes music, really, really talented, talking about Jake. And they're like, you know what? Just send us this shit. We'll play it fucking prime time, 4 to 6 commuter stuff. We'll feature him as a local artist. I was like, this is fucking hype.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if 50 people listen to that because it's the University of Delaware, but like,
it's people.
People listen to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's not like we're setting up our own radio station in our garage and we're like, we're on the radio. There are other people who say, our shit is cool enough to go on their thing. And it's just, they're so nice and it's so much fun. And I'm stoked. I can't wait to get you on the radio. I have decided, I really have decided that of all my friends, I've got a lot of talented friends. Genevieve is really good with her art. Mm-hmm. Sean, you're not good at anything. I know a lot of other really smart people who make really good websites and shit. I think you might be the most artistically talented person in my life right now. And I'm just so fucking fired up to get your material out there. Because what I think is going to happen is there's going to be some guy. You remember Back to the Future? Like, hey, Winston Berry or Chuck Berry's uncle, listen to this. And he holds up the phone and it's the guy going back in time playing Chuck Berry music, and then he makes rock and roll. All right, well, that happened. I think it's going to be like that. They're like, oh shit, this is the sound we need, man. I don't know. I'm just so stoked.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was a great synopsis.
Now that you've gone and slobbered all over my knob, I owe you a gentlemanly thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Gentlemanly.
And your cab fare is on the desk drawer.
Nice.
Desk.
So the thing that I'm really
find it. I put it over there somewhere. You'll figure it out.
I do this for free, baby. I was throwing it around with you. I don't know what's in a studio. I know my stepbrother and his band rented studio time, and it's like $100 an hour or something. You go in and they recorded their album, and I know to make an album is like $10,000. I don't know what it all costs. But I want to go into an album. I told you I was like, I'll rent out space for your music, but I'll also make a catalog of my own voices because some of them to sound exactly right.
That's pretty good.
You look like Gollum, Sean. You know what? That should be your voice. Actually,
we'll just say we'll put you on camera, Sean,
okay.
And then you'll ADR over him.
Yeah, it'll be like ADR. Is that like the deep fake?
No, it's just actors going into a studio.
Oh, okay.
That's very common in movies.
I was saying we could do it like Darth Vader or whatever. I'm James Earl Jones and you're that British guy. But now that we have the deep fake, it could just be his horrible body and with my face, and we deep fake it over.
Oh my god!
What? Your body's fine, I guess. I'm sorry, Sean. I don't mean to body shame you.
Bill, you doth protest too much.
Listen, I am the fat version of a person that you're the skinny version of. I'm just saying, we're like two sides of the same horrible looking coin.
So why not just like combine it?
Shitty, cruddy, rusted coin.
But I want to give them another plug. Crash and Burn Show. They are on Spreaker, SPREAKER. So it's speaker with an R.com. Crash and Burn. They're a flaming money airplane going towards the ground. Their pro account. You'll see that. I think they're also on iTunes. They just got out on iTunes. If you want to review them, give them a good review. It's another one of those like easy listening, like it's not high stress. It's not your political stuff. It's not like, you know, I used to listen to Joe Rogan pretty regularly, and it was like, it got to be too much because they're always talking politics. They're always talking big picture stuff. And I was just like, I need to relax.
Yeah. I mean, we dip into that here and there.
Yeah.
But most of the time, we're just making dick jokes.
Yeah. And, you know,
reviewing movies or games.
And actually, I believe I can announce this since we don't have any agents or anything. One of the people from the show, Marie, she goes by Ree, she and I are going to start a movie review podcast together. We're going to release on the 1st and the 15th of every month. And we're starting with the theme of good, the bad, the ugly. So we pick 3 movies and we all decide what we think is going to be good, bad, and ugly. And then we're going to talk about it. And look, I think you're going to see some familiar voices on there. You're going to hear some familiar voices. You know, I think G might come on the show. I think Jake might come on the show. My dad has volunteered to come on our movie show.
My God.
How cool is that? So
Our biggest fan.
check them out. We're going to cross promote like crazy. And, you know, they have a social media presence. So I arm wrestled him. I arm wrestled Woody when I was on the show. And I'm pretty sure he flopped. I think he threw it. And I'm pissed about it.
You told that story in more depth last time.
So I am going to make a challenge video, and we're going to go online. I'm going to see if we can't get some swell. Yeah. I don't know what.
God, do we need to get like some WWE themes going for you guys?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
right.
I can do that.
Oh,
I can do that for you.
God, I love you.
Oh boy.
All right. So I did want to touch on. So check them out, and I want to thank them. Big thanks again to them. What a great time. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, so I've been playing Counter-Strike a lot lately. The way that you play Fallout. Well, ever since I turned off that default Microsoft Windows mouse accelerator, I can actually practice and get better, right? My mouse movements are consistently oriented to a certain amount of turning in game, which the accelerator made not true. So like techniques actually help me improve. So I've been playing a lot. And it's interesting because when I used to get on, when I was like a younger kid, you'd hear like 9 or 10-year-olds get on and their jokes are dumb and their voices are annoying on the microphone.
You're a faggot.
Yeah, exactly.
You should learn to play the game better, you bitch.
And now I'm
That's
starting
just ignorant.
I was gonna say it sounds like Michael Jackson pretending to be a boy.
You're being ignorant.
I have found that all the players who shit on me are kids. They're like in their teens, and that really irks me. And I was like, wait a minute.
I'm an adult.
That's when I started playing. That's when I was good.
You're not a part of their system.
No.
You're an adult.
What?
Just throw it on the ground.
Yes. Happy birthday to the ground.
So I had 2 interesting conversations yesterday.
I love you, Jake.
I was talking with this one guy who was like new to the game. We were just shooting the shit, and I told him, he was talking about VR, and he was getting really excited about VR.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, bro, we're going to skip that when Elon Musk makes the brain interface. I'm like, you know, because we're talking about the VR thing, good glasses paired with those slippery boots on the platform so you can sort of lightly jog in place. This exists now. I'm like, we're just going to skip that, and you're going to believe that you're doing it, but you'll be sitting there like the Matrix. And he's like, oh, that's scary, blah, blah, blah. And I went, dog, let me tell you, the real end of the human race is going to be fuckbots. Now, I've taken this stance before, but I'm now teaching the younglings about our impending doom. I was like, the fuckbots are going to get us way before global warming, right? Boston Dynamics already has that 2-legged robot that does flips and stuff. We got the Real Touch and the fucking Auto Blow and these pocket pussies. You just put them in there. You already got mechanical dildos, prehensile Johns, and we got real
prehensile Johns.
Yeah, we got
best kind of John.
And we have those real dolls that look like people. You just slap one of them bad boys on these Boston Dynamic robots, and you'll be fuckbots will just be running from house to house banging us out. And you like, why would you won't even need
house to house.
Yeah.
Door to door fuckbots.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It'll be like Uber.
I'd like to take up a minute of your time, sir or madam. Would you care for a rousing fuck?
No, just get it on your little app, right? And then they can superheat their
fuck hub.
Order your fuckbot.
Yeah, they can superheat their bits to sterilize it, and then you don't have to worry about getting pregnant.
I don't know how close I want my dick to like a heating coil.
Well, anyhow, I told him all this, and he goes, I never thought about that. Dude, that's a really good point. You're right. I was like,
what have you done?
So this poor teenager? I'm
he's
guessing?
probably like 17 or 18.
Okay, yeah. He now is like his world has changed.
Yeah, I proselytized him in another one. Like, I'm telling you, we got to keep an eye out for these fuckbots. Because why would you even bother? You just order one up that's great looking. 50 cents to, bang whoever, this dream.
50 cents.
But, so that was a fun conversation.
And 50 Cent. He's one of the 10.
Okay, that's what I thought he was going with.
He's
at
one
first.
of the options.
The other thing I wanted to share was, man, every once in a while you'll get these young bloods on there, and they're doing their typical teenager edgelord humor. And I run into that every once in a while. Like, I'll run into the news, they'll be like, a teenager says something racist and community is aghast. I'm like, yeah, that's what they do. They're like, well, a lot of them do, maybe not all of them, but like, they're edgelords. They're trying to see how cool and tough they are. That's what they fucking do. It's annoying, but they grow out of it. Don't worry. So this guy gets on and he starts talking in this accent on our server. And I was like, so this 13-year-old kid is putting on a herby-flerby accent. And he keeps talking about, like, first his uncle was raping him with a spoon. He was like, he's working that material. He's trying to get us all, upset. And people were just ignoring him because we were playing it. And I typed in vote kick. I know you can't vote kick off this server, but I was just like, I was being a grumpy old man, trying to get rid of him. But I didn't mute him. And I'll tell you this much. 35 minutes later, he was still working the same material.
And he was killing it.
And I was like, he hasn't dropped the accent. So either it's real, which is amazing, or this is one dedicated fucking tween.
Yeah.
Right? And he starts talking about his grandmoosh, which I think is grandmother, assaulting him with a spoon. Like, he got rid of the creepy uncle and his grandmoosh. You have to run from my grandmoosh. She hurts me with my spoon. My grandmoosh. And like, he would pause, think of new material for 5 minutes, and jump back on about grandmoosh. And I tried to record some of it for you guys, but he got off after like 2 or 3 games.
But it was like 2 or 3 games worth of content.
Yeah. I get off in like 1.
Dude, we got on pond, but we got to the end of the 3rd game and I was losing my fucking shit. I completely about faced on my view. I was like, either this kid talks like this, which makes it extra funny because he's saying some wild ass shit in a goofy ass accent, or this is a very dedicated youth, which they are typically not. Grandmoosh, why are you coming after me, Grandmoosh?
And also creativity points, because why that accent?
And he
if
would
that's
be
what
like,
you're choosing?
he'd pause, he'd be like, why does no one care about my struggle? My grandmoosh is coming after me with the spoon. She says, stupid child, I will teach you a lesson. Come to your grandmoosh. And I say, grandmoosh, no. I'm like, oh my God. And he would let it marinate just long enough and then hit us with it again. And the thing is, it's like we're playing like deathmatch gun game. It's very intense. And like,
He's just
he would
talking.
stab left and right, and then all of a sudden he'd be like, and then I said to me, grandmoosh, why are you not helping me with my grandmoosh problem? And oh my God, I was so impressed. And then he just left, and I haven't heard from him again. And I'll be damned, I am really disappointed. But at the same, like, and I could have friended him, right?
Right.
But I didn't want to ruin the magic. It's like another conversation I had on Counter-Strike many years ago. We're talking about jobs that we want to do. And the one guy's like, I want to be a vagina doctor, you know, because he liked vagina. And
As you do.
yeah, and I was like, dude, I am not interested in that because I don't want to know that much about vaginas. I want there to be some magic left in the world, right? I just, wow, awesome. This stuff's great. And that's all I want to know about.
Stuff is great.
Yeah, that's all I want to know about. And like, I kind of feel that way about Gramush Kid, right? Like, I didn't want to find out that he was
Gramush
like
equals vagina.
like he was actually just some punk ass kid and he didn't realize how talented he was, or he's an old man putting on a child's voice. Like, you know, I didn't want the illusion to be shattered. Don't meet your heroes, you know? But I just want to give a belated clap to Gramush Kid. That was fucking 5 stars, dude.
R.I.P.
Unbelievable. All right, so Sean, you haven't played any games, right?
Not in a long time.
Why are you here?
Genevieve, one of your favorites just recently
This
got
is
an
a video game.
expansion.
Yes. So my game, the House Flipper game, finally released their garden expansion.
Oh, I thought you now can literally flip houses. That's what I was waiting for.
No. I mean,
That would make me buy the
Maybe?
game.
oh my god, what? That would be a great idea. Put like all the bedrooms and stuff
Yeah.
on the
Just
first
show up with like a
floor.
fleet of bulldozers and whoop,
Oh.
right over.
But I think physically you can't like actually like put furniture on the ceiling
0 stars out of 5.
unless it's lights or
Literally
Maybe
unplayable.
Anyway, they put out some garden shit or whatever you were saying.
Oh my god. Well, all right.
Oh, your sassy turn away from the mic is superb. I feel guilted in the same way that like my dog used to get mad at me when I
and,
didn't
like,
give
look
him
away
some
from
of
you.
my treat. And he wouldn't look at me for 10 minutes. He's like, "Oh, come on,
Come on, buddy.
Come on! I can't help it. You're a dog. Sorry, I couldn't make the game whatever you wanted."
I'm sorry, Jake.
I want to flip houses. I want to flip them over.
It's not my choice.
Well, you love this game. We bought it cheap for like $20, right?
The original game, yeah, and then the expansion was.
Oh
I think,
no, we missed the
15.
sale. I bought it for you for like 25, and now the expansion came out, and they'd been teasing it forever. You could clearly see
Yeah.
they weren't updating the game in other ways. They were gonna get us into the garden.
I mean, they've been doing like fixes. Like they're always
Yeah.
updating small stuff,
And a
but this
little
was
bit
the
of the
big
English.
thing.
But they came out and they charged $15 for this, and I was like, "We're buying it right now." And what did you think?
I've had a lot of fun with it so far. I feel like there's still some stuff in it that I haven't found yet. But it is a lot more satisfying to know that like the whole property now is involved. It's not just like make this house look nice and then don't worry about the yard being a total piece of shit because it's going to sell for 50 million funny monies.
If you're wondering if you're going to get your $15 worth, your full price off this expansion, we bought this for Genevieve. I think we bought it at like 11 o'clock at night, and she played it until the sun came up at 6 in the morning the first day.
Jeez.
And it still maintains that air of like unfinished goofiness that I
Oh
love
my
so
God,
much.
it's so great.
Like you're cutting the lawn with a weed whacker.
The whole lawn is a weed whacker.
And like your character's just looking down at this weed whacker spinning, which is nicely modeled, and like you're this hairy armed dude. The arms don't move, and you're hauling ass in a straight line back and forth across the lawn. You're not swinging it.
But not
You're
even
just
like you only
straight-
see the one arm. It looks like he's just like holding the.
Yep, it's amazing, and the grass is like
He's riding it like a broom. Like a witch's broom.
He's- yeah,
Saddled
yeah.
up like a motorcycle.
Yeah.
the grass is like 6 feet tall, and then you cut it, and it's just a flat texture. It looks like marble. I'm like, it's cut now.
Yep. Although it's kind of cool when you put down like gravel or sand. If you put it over the grass disappears. So the grass next to where you put gravel is still like a foot tall, but the gravel is just completely encapsulated the rest of the grass around it. See, there's the lawn mowing. You can water plants.
Hell yeah! That plant growth action.
Oh my! You can plant new plants, and you can chop down trees, which, for one thing, is actually a little more difficult than I thought it would be, because you have to actually aim for the same level on the tree and like pay attention, because I did it the first time. I spiraled around it, so it was like a corkscrew looking thing before it finally actually fell, which it just falls. Never mind your fucking house, like just fall into the house. That's cool. And then it just sinks into the ground and disappears. So
The scene from The Life of Brian comes to mind.
do I not know this?
They said you couldn't build a castle in the swamp, but I built one anyway. It sank into the swamp, so I built another one. That also sank into the swamp. Built a third castle. That one fell down, burned down, and then sank into the swamp. But the fourth one stayed up.
Oh, there you go. So yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's any other updates.
New skills? Did you get any new skills?
I mean, gardening skills, which is just like
Hell yeah.
like you dig holes faster, or you get an upgraded. You can upgrade your axe and your weed whacker.
Having someone around who's efficient at digging holes is usually a good asset to have.
That's my
in emergency
career.
situations.
Oh, and there's like new jobs or new missions to do that are just yard related.
Hell yeah.
So there's more awful English to read and interesting personalities.
Do they add any new characters?
I haven't looked yet. I haven't tried selling a house yet since the update.
I want to see what Dontron has to say about your gussed up yard.
Oh,
There's a fake
Dolan.
Donald Trump. Yeah, Dolan Dermp or something.
Dermp.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's like a guy who's like an anarchist.
Dolan Trusk. That's what it is.
There's a guy who's like he's a prepper, like an apocalypse prepper.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want anything in my house, just everything in my bunker.
Yeah, he wants just supplies for the bunker. No TV, no comfort. Like fuck that bed.
I want
just
5
cans of
generators.
soup.
I will sleep on tomato paste.
Yeah.
For 50 years.
Yeah.
That's a life worth living.
But then he also I guess he deducts points from his score of you or whatever if you start adding furniture in. Like he's like, I don't want that. That's unnecessary. Like
Good.
Like
He's a shitty prepper.
Yeah. So that's
Obvious empty house is obvious.
yeah.
You gotta hide the bunker.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hide the bunker.
It was I think you'll agree. We built hype in our own heads about this release.
Yeah.
Because we knew it was coming, and then it came out, and it literally met every expectation.
Yes, it has.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just been such a good time.
I think there's you can put little lakes or ponds in your yard. And then there's a bunch of new
There's waterworks. Can you put fishums in there?
No, not
That's
yet.
an update.
I'll say not yet because I don't know what they're gonna do.
Completely unplayable.
They do have they added outdoor furniture. So before you couldn't even place furniture outside, but now that's an option. And pergolas or tents and stuff. Playground.
Holy fuck, they did some work.
Yeah. Okay, so the playground items that I've built so far, because they have that little mini game where you assemble things. For some of it, let's see, I did the swing set and something else, but the build process is simply clicking on these things. Like you aren't even screwing screws in, you're just clicking on the objects as they appear on the screen and they put themselves together. Like they've somehow made it even simpler.
It's very engaging. I don't know how.
Because I'm a simpleton?
No, it's like just in the right amount of effort so that you're playing a game, but not so much that you're like, I have to focus on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gameplay doesn't get in the way of designing a yard.
And then there's fence options, and I think they've put some pet stuff in there. Like there's a dog house.
Oh, I hope we get animals.
I hope so, but I don't know because you don't really live in the houses. It's just meant for the
but
building
you sell
stuff.
the dogs with the house.
I don't know.
That would be sweet. I still think we should contact them and be like, we'll fix the English for your game because we love it.
What if they're like, we want it that way?
I'd be like, more power to you. God bless. Bet. Bless up.
Bless up.
Trust.
What? Trust up.
Yes. Dab on.
I do.
Yeet. Yote.
Re.
Indeed.
In read. I do hope there are new people to sell houses to.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't checked. I've been so engrossed in the new upgrades and jobs to work on for the gardens.
That's awesome.
So.
I that's a game I'd love to see like some modding to like get our hands on, because I've played a little bit of it, but I have so much fun watching you do it. It's, I don't know. You recommend it to a friend?
Yes. I mean,
very
I
good.
feel like you need a certain kind of personality to really enjoy it, because like, I don't know, I feel like everyone in this room wouldn't necessarily want to play that game, but it's worth a shot. If you like Sims or any sort of house building stuff, then it's worth it.
Another big update announcement. Blackwake finally has bots. So you can go on an empty server with bots and learn how to captain a ship. Huge move. My favorite part about this edition is that the bots, one, they don't sprint, so they're not great. But if they're on a cannon,
there's no sense of urgency.
you can kick them off the cannon, and instead of like an option to replace, your option is to shove them. It just shove. No, so you're being really mean to the robots. Good thinking. Got to keep them in their place. We missed a tourney, so I don't have anything to report on that. That's exciting though. If you have Blackwake or you think about getting it in a sale, now you can go on and play with some bots and learn how it goes. I think it's going to make it much more approachable. Might frankly be too little too late for this to really explode as a game. But
Why do you say that?
it's been out for a while, and it just like they keep getting ebbs and flows of players, but they can't ever retain. Like it has not reached this critical mass where there's like a bunch of full servers. It's the same people, all the time, and eventually you get people who stick around and become elites, like level 500 or whatever. But then some of the old players leave, so it like maintains, but it never really grows. And I heard somebody talking about it. I read somebody talking about it on Reddit, and they're like, "That was my favorite game like 5 years ago." I was like, "Wait, the game's that old, and it's still in fucking beta or pre-release?"
Yeah.
But and then there was one other thing I wanted to touch on, and Genevieve and I have been playing with the neighbors. We've been playing Borderlands as like a couch co-op, and that's been really nice. Borderlands 2, and when I was talking to this kid before, we were talking about fuckbots, we were talking about VR, and he's like, "Oh, it's going to make hanging out with your friends so much cooler because it's going to be like they're right there." And I'm like, I told him, I was like, we're already so close to that experience. Technology has really carried us there. I didn't think that Discord was going to be very cool, and then I got on it. And the other day, Jake and I were just shooting the shit. I got bored of playing my game. I was like, "Hey, can you stream me your game?" So I watched him play Fallout, and we just talked. And I was like, it felt like I was sitting in my room, but I didn't have to drive an hour.
Hanging out with your friend
Yeah,
IRL.
we were up talking till like 1:30, just playing games together. I was like, holy fuck, it feels like we're in high school again. I love it so much, man. I really am super pleased at where. Now think about this.
Oh, okay.
You can get very rich from being an e-sport guy. They're going to start getting gold diggered, and people are going to be banging guys with really good esports contracts. And so your parents can't be like, your brain's going to turn to mush. You got nowhere to go. You can be a professional player, and it can make you more social. You can hang out with your friends.
You can have it all.
Video game, yeah. You can have your cake and eat it too, and not get fat. It's amazing. All right, listen. Anybody else have have any quick notes they want to add in before we? All right, we're gonna.
I would just like to share.
Sure.
Earlier this week, I got onto. If you remember, last time we were here, we talked about webtoons, the like comics. I opened up the app for that, and the first advertised comic that showed up was a new series called Meow Man. It is a man-sized cat thing that turns into a man, like an anthropomorphized cat, but it's so confusing. And I tried reading it, and I was just like, this is so dumb. Like, why is this? But anyway, so the first time I saw it, I was just like, nope, and closed out of the app, and eventually came back and I was like, all right, I need to be able to talk about this because what on earth?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's this girl who's wishing for a boyfriend, and then the cat just appears.
Catman appears as her boyfriend.
Meow Man.
Oh,
appears.
Meow Man.
And just decides that he's her boyfriend.
Okay.
You're my wife now. That's a deep reference.
That's probably as far as I got. Because she's like telling her friend about it.
Are you going to finish it?
No.
You're not going to finish it?
I don't have...
I expect a full review. Comprehensive.
You basically just gave us a teaser. I want to know if Catman works out. If Meow Man works out.
Meow Man.
I imagine she's in high school or something?
I need to pull up a picture of it because it's just... When you see it, it's so ridiculous. No, I think she's in college.
I'm going to volunteer
at the
that
university.
We don't need the picture on our podcast.
No, for you guys.
Okay.
I don't
Well, in
care
that
about
case,
the
we can
listeners.
we'll look at that on break.
Yeah.
Any other?
And we'll talk about it when we come back to Steve. Okay, no? Hey, we'll catch you on the flip side again. We'll come back to the Steve sale. Wait, no, it goes Steve sale, Steve sale, Steve sale,
Steam sale.
Steve sale. Steve sale. All right, here we go. Steam sale, QuakeCon sale. Some guy with a username saying he was a QuakeCon shit on me in Counter-Strike this weekend. Up to 80% off. And then there's a thing about Bethesda.
That's all. That's all we need to talk
We
about.
got Elder Scrolls Online elsewhere for
Spelled
it's
all
$26, I think, just for the expansion. That's a little rude. Rage 2, Doom 20. Oh, okay, Doom 2016 for under $7 is a no-brainer. Buy that game, you queers. Fallout 4 Game of the Year at $15. That's all the DLCs included. Also, a very good idea, in my opinion.
Is that the most recent Fallout?
Well, no, 76 is the most recent, but we don't talk about that game.
Most recent acceptable game.
Yeah. So, some upcoming John's here. VR Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, $20. Doom Eternal, $60, set to release this November. I am very curious about Doom Eternal because the first one was so goddamn good. Let's see what else.
What is Prey?
Prey for $6. Dishonored Complete Collection for $20. That's also probably a good idea. Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus for $20. Chris wasn't much of a fan.
No.
Wolfenstein The New Order and the Old Blood come the 2-pack for $10. That could be worthwhile. Yeah, there's some dude. Fallout New Vegas Ultimate for $5, obviously. Skyrim 5, if for some reason, or Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim for $13, 13 and change. These are all completely reasonable prices if you have not played these games for some reason.
Morrowind.
Wow, there's even more.
Morrowind, $5. I got it for free. Bethesda.net did a thing a few months ago where, like, if you just did something, you would get it for free. So I installed it, but I have yet to actually play it. By all accounts, it is simultaneously the one of the, if not the best Elder Scrolls game, but also one of the hardest to go back and play. It did not age well. Similar story with Oblivion, rather good, under $7. I mean, I played the shit out of Oblivion. It was my first Elder Scrolls game. Highly recommend it.
Evil Within.
Lots of oddball Johns. The Evil Within.
Does anyone know?
I think I've seen
it, but I don't remember it. Is this where? I think it's like a horror game.
Yeah, well,
It's
it's
like
made by the
Escape from
creator
shit.
of the Resident Evil games.
Yeah, it looks very Resident Evil.
Oh, I watched two best friends play through this.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I mean,
I've heard good things. Very positive reviews on Steam.
$5, you're not going to go wrong with this game. If this
You'll get at least 5 hours.
I mean,
get at least
look at
$5
this
worth of
enemy. Like,
value.
that's pretty horrifying.
Yeah.
And there is a sequel out, or about to be out, one of the two.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I
is
saw the
definitely
second
worth $5 as I recall now. I think there was like some minor issue with it. It was like mechanical or just something was goofy, but it wasn't a bad game. Oh man,
Jesus,
it freaked me out pretty good though.
Oh,
getting
just saw-
ground up in some screws. God
Yeah.
damn, this is brutal.
Woohoo.
Yep, $5. I'm gonna have to pick this bad boy up.
yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks every bit like a modern. Like, I would like to go back, please. Too far. There is a sequel out for $15 on sale, 75% off.
Damn, you can get both of them.
Yeah, for $20.
They're both very positive.
That's incredible. This came out 2 years ago.
Oh, I remember The Evil Within now. Yeah, the storyline was kind of goofy. You were in like this like dream world that was hosted in a little girl's mind, and it was degrading, and you had to save your daughter. It was like really over the top, but definitely worth $5. And the second game, if I was a betting man, yeah, it's going to be worth $15.
It's got some stellar reviews for what they're worth. Looks sharp.
Some of the monster design.
What is that? Oh man, the way he was holding the gun.
Some of the monster
normal?
design in this game was fucking scary as shit.
Yeah.
There was a woman, like a woman monster. It looked like, the smokers from Left 4 Dead, except it was 15 feet tall with like 4 heads and even more frighteningly sounding.
Jeez.
It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, they're not really my speed, but they look pretty good if Resident Evil is in that kind of whole genre.
What's Rage? They've been pushing this they've been pushing Rage too hard.
I'd like to
Yeah,
Rage.
I think the sale is largely in anticipation of this. But yeah, it's like a first-person shooter with like zombie-type monster
I got
sorts
that
of
when it
things.
first came out.
Demons.
You
This
got
is
Rage?
an example. This is a perfect example of a game I would pick up the first iteration for $250, and if I liked it, by the time I finished the first one, the second one would be on sale.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably pick it up for $250
I
regardless
got
of
this
what
for
else.
$60 when it first came out.
Was it worth it?
purchase,
For a
huh?
birthday gift.
Yeah, what'd you think? You had to pay for your own birthday gift?
That's so
Well,
weird.
when it first came out, it was $60.
Hmm.
It's like 3 discs on the 360.
So what'd you think of it?
I enjoyed it. I mean, they have something called wing sticks, which are bladed boomerangs. A lot of fun to mess around with.
What's this Call of Cthulhu? I think I've seen
We've seen playthroughs of it.
worth $250.
It's a horror-y kind of game.
If you can look past the goofiness and sort of find a charm in it, yeah, it's worth the $250.
I think,
It's definitely got its own style.
okay. So I just remember the story of Rage. There we go.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah. It took me a second. It's been a while. Basically, you're selected. You're put in an underground bunker safe as something happens on nuclear war or something, and your arc surfaces and opens early, and each person in the arc gets nanobots that heals you, can revive you, whatnot.
And then you go wake up Jennifer Lawrence's pod and then
Yeah,
just sail into space forever.
No, but you come out and there's this huge like wasteland monsters, and you have to go to settlement to settlement, and you have to fight the Authority, which is they're rounding up the Ark survivors because they went to nanobots. Yeah.
What do the nanobots do? They heal you? Anything else? Or, like, why are they?
Do, and I forget why the Authority's after them, but they want the nanobots. They want the stuff in you.
The sweet nanobots.
Yeah. That's all I really remember.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick up. I mean, back in for $250. It's
Yeah, 250.
whatever.
Yeah, 250 is
It
nothing.
looks like a triple. It definitely was a AAA game.
Yeah.
Looking at Prey now. Genevieve asked about earlier, but we kind of glazed over it. $6. Very positive reviews. First-person shooter, kind of looks like in the vein of, Alien and Deep Space or Dead Space rather. Kind of fun. I think I've seen bits of this played, if I remember right. Lots of lore revealed through like audio logs, if I'm remembering right.
Looks cool. It looks like one of those games that could go really, really right or be a letdown.
Yeah.
But all the positive reviews, I mean, 14,000 positive reviews.
And $6. I mean,
so the aliens can turn into objects in this one?
I think so.
So when you're walking in a room and you hear the noise, you know there's an alien in there, but you don't know what it is. And all of a sudden you keep walking by and a coffee cup just all of a sudden morphs into a fucking alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mimics they're called or something. Yeah.
Yeah, mimics. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, not really my speed. I'm not big on horror so much, but $6 could be worthwhile even for me. Let's see. Let's go back to the main storefront here. See what else they're trying to shove in our face.
PUBG, still trying to get rid of that fucking thing.
PUBG, Wolfenstein.
Wait, this is featured and recommended. It's not.
That's true. But I'll just skip through it. Subnautica, Valve Index, Astroneer, GTA 5,
Euro Truck.
All right, special offers. Squad. Free weekend until the 29th at 1 p.m. So tomorrow afternoon. Let's take a quick look. Full, on sale, 50% off for $20. It is early access, but has some very positive feedback so far.
Get ready for this to be a simulator like that Insurgent game was. I think this might even be from the same makers. I jumped in Insurgent and I was like, oh, it's going to be another Counter-Strike game and I can just figure it out. No, the guys on that game were serious business. I left after I fucked up two rounds.
Yeah, large-scale combined arms combat, base building, and integrated VoIP system. So it's all about tactical co-op against other tactical co-ops.
Voice over Internet Protocol.
Just talking to other players for the game.
Okay.
Which is if you're not using a third-party client like Ventrilo or Discord, is very important to be built in well into the game if it's multiplayer, especially with cooperative.
Disgaea PC.
JRPG right from the get-go.
2016. No nostalgia here.
Yeah. Top RPG adventure. I mean, if you like JRPGs,
It also looks
$450.
Anime heavy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly positive recent reviews.
Isometric. World overview. 2D conversation cutscenes from the
Your
look
new
of it.
name is Mid Boss.
Nice.
What?
Nice.
It was one of the dialogue boxes.
Yeah, I don't know. Looks kind of tactics-ish, you know? Moving around the map and turn-based.
If I was still drinking, I'd play this game, but...
Let's see. The Isle.
Oh, fuck. Is this dino fighting? Yo, I've been playing... I forgot to talk about it on this episode. I've been playing Jurassic Park, like, Park Manager.
Oh, snap.
So I'm all hot and bothered for dinos. Experience fierce open world survival gameplay as you attempt to stay alive on an unforgiving island inhabited by dinosaurs. Hunt, grow, survive. Am I a dinosaur?
No, I think
I
you're a
am.
No.
I better be.
You're hunt, grow, and survive. That sounds.
All it's showing is dinosaurs. You don't see one. You don't see any person here.
Yeah, because you wouldn't see yourself.
You would see your hands, your hairy man hands.
You can't. You
Very
can't rely on that
positive.
because every now and then when you look down, there's no feet.
How much is this one? $10? Oh man, for some dino time, I might have to get this.
It looks pretty sharp.
No feathers, unrealistic, literally unplayable.
Can't help but notice you guys skipped over worms.
We did skip
sounds.
over Worms. WND. Free weekend.
Oh, it's a free weekend?
Yeah.
$10.19
WND.
full price.
Have you played Worms, Sean?
No, I don't need friends.
What?
I don't need friends to play with.
Wow.
Do you need to play with friends? What is it? I don't even know what it is.
It's a turn-based.
Shooter?
Yeah,
It's
like
kinda
you have like grenades, missiles, crazy airdrops.
It's like usually teams. Doesn't have to be.
Oops.
But like, you know, everyone, all your little warm boys deploy on this map,
Yeah.
and the teams take turns, and they have weapons, they have abilities, they have etc. And you see these big like circular craters. Those are where explosions happened.
There was like a tank game like this that was big when we were in middle school.
Yeah, pocket tanks.
I bet usually if these games are better with other players, they'll give you an extra deal if you buy a 4-pack.
Yeah.
So it'll be like $7 each or 4 for 20.
I just happen to know it was free.
I mean, these
weekend,
are definitely best played with friends because the AI is
definitely.
retarded. But it's a long-running series. I mean, you look right here.
Yeah.
They've been around since the Dreamcast.
Fuck. That's a blast from the past.
Whole bunch of stuff we already looked at. Tomb Raider,
again,
$20.
We're still.
Okay, so not a terribly compelling main special offers and things, but this QuakeCon sale for Bethesda has quite a few interesting, enticing options. You guys want to call it?
Yeah, let's call it up. I'm going to get Dino Time and...
The Isle, it's called.
and the Dishonored Collection.
Yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
Sean, what would you get? You had to get something.
Oh, wasn't there a Fallout one? The Fallout 4?
Yeah.
Game of the year for 15.
Yeah, get that one.
I would recommend
I got the Vegas one and I gave up on it. There's so many bugs, and I never got to try Fallout 4.
Oh, I have bad news for you. It's a Fallout game, so bugs are
That's
kind of
part of it.
No,
bugs are part and parcel.
No, like when Vegas first came out, it was so riddled with bugs. Like
You should go back.
I know they updated
and give
it quite
Vegas
a bit,
especially if you finally came and get a PC and you're in like modding territory.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go all balls out retarded like I mod my games, but like just putting in some tweaks in, right, and adding some, a couple extra bells and whistles for you to enjoy, for you to make more out of, because with all these games, New Vegas in particular, because it's often regarded as one of the best in the recent entries of the franchise, but the development team had just a severe budget and time crunch and couldn't fully bug fix, couldn't fully flesh out all the stories they wanted to, and it's already, despite that, such a rich game.
Yeah.
So I think next time you're in the mood, I recommend going back, but do the same thing with Fallout 4, especially if you don't have any like particular love.
Because I loved Fallout 3. I played so many hours into that game. So and then I got Vegas, and I was so just I couldn't walk across one town without me like falling through the ground, freezing.
Whoa!
It was bad.
Oh, I don't think that's typically that bad.
Yeah.
For most folks, but I mean, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
4 has more in common with 3 than it does with New Vegas.
All right. That's good. Yeah, definitely 4 then.
Sweet. Genevieve?
I'm gonna go with what was it? The Evil Within and Prey.
Nice. I'm 100% getting Rage 1.
Forgot about that.
It's already in my cart. You saw me put it there, and I might spring for the Dishonored collection as well. There you have it.
All right, another solid episode. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Thanks again to our special guest, Sean. Boy, I know we sure joke a lot, but I do love you, buddy. All right.
Wow, that was terrifying.
Check out Crash and Burn Show on Spreaker or iTunes. Keep listening to us, and cock 'em, lock 'em, and rock 'em, baby.
Oh God! Oh, why'd you shoot me? Oh God, I'm dying, Bill. Bill, I'm dying. Bill,
another day.
Bill, tell
Madonna's here?
Listen to my last words, damn it.
Where are they?
Tell your wife I love her.
That's very